I am paging Dr. Chanda.
I am the
Dr. Chanda.
And I'm a licensed clinical psychologist.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Paging Dr. Chanda podcast, all things related to the Black culture.
Revolt. The doctor in front of your name.
What's up, family? It is Dr. Chanda. Tune in for another episode of Paging Dr. Chanda. All you have to do is keep watching. But listen, if you're just watching from the outside, just peeking through the window, I need you to commit. Come all the way in the house, and I need you to subscribe, like, and shoot me a comment in the comment section. I love responding to all of your comments. I love listening and reading how much you guys enjoy the topics that I'm talking about. So yeah, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, and join the tribe.
Stop scrolling for 1 second. This month, we are bringing back the Psychology of Black Women, the online class brought to you by yours truly, Dr. Chanda, licensed clinical psychologist. Y'all, I've been getting so many questions about why anxiety and depression presents differently in Black women. What do we do about it? How can we start to combat this? And what are some of the reasonings behind it? Listen, if you are a Black woman who has questions about anxiety and depression, it's something you experience or something your loved ones experience, or if you're a professional who works with Black women who experience anxiety and depression, I promise you this class is for you. Make sure that you sign up today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Dr. Chanda, and you're watching the Paging Dr. Chanda show. Y'all know we like to deep dive into conversations that encourage us to reflect on ourselves, to live better, healthy, and whole lives. I am your host, Dr. Chanda Reynolds, licensed clinical psychologist, and I am here with my special guest, Miss Journey Montana. Journey, please introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, thank you for having me, first of all. My name is Journey Montana.
Thanks for coming on.
Yes, thank you. My name is Journey Montana. I'm a singer-songwriter from New York. I also act a little bit on the side. And yeah, I'm currently working on my project. Me and my team have been putting in a lot of work these last few months, finishing up my album. So yeah, a lot coming soon, a lot on the way. Stay tuned.
Awesome. We're so excited to have you here today. You're definitely someone who we will identify as like a multi-hyphenate. You're not just a singer, you're not just an actress, you're not just a musician, like you do it all. And so, yeah, tell us about like how you're able to juggle so many things at once.
I really think it was just having it fundamentally like placed in me as a child. Like I did a lot of acting classes when I was younger and a lot of workshops and a lot of singing classes, a lot of writing like sessions and things like that. And it was kind of just second nature at that point. I also grew up around it with my parents both being in the music industry. So I always saw like artists writing music. It was kind of like, oh, if you're going to be an artist, you write your songs. Like I never really saw it done any other way. So I think immediately when I got into music, I got into songwriting. I always was writing a little bit as a child, but like I really took it serious when I decided to be an artist. Yeah, I mean, also I just feel like it's just fundamentally taught to me when I was so young that like I just carry it with me,
Yeah.
in everything I do.
So this isn't just something that like it was just a interest that came out of nowhere. Like you grew up in this. Like
Yeah.
this is from like you were reared.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I just remember going to my mom when I was like 7, like, oh, I want to get in acting classes. Oh, I want to do like singing classes. And, I did a lot of performance coaching when I was little and a lot of acting and a lot of, all of those things. I got my first agent when I was like 10. So like, that's like before your brain is really on and before you really know what you're doing. So like, I was just vibing and now it's just how I exist, it's just how I function.
That's dope. Okay. All right. Well, how was life growing up as a Harlem girly? I have a few friends who live in Harlem, so I'm wondering, like, did that impact your flow of music? Like, tell us what it was like being a Harlem girl.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody just like does what they want to do out there. It's so free. Like everybody dresses how they want to dress, and even like if people want to play music in the middle of the street, they'll play music in the middle of the street. Like there's
Period.
this place on 125th Street. I used to go to school around there, and like they have all of the drummers and they all just like drum for hours and hours and hours, and it's like people will dance and like party or whatever, and it's really cool to see, and it's really like empowering. Also, I grew up in Spanish Harlem, so and from morning to nighttime they're like blasting music all the time. even like being in the hair
Really?
salon, like seeing how like the music would just make people feel and make people move no matter what is going on. Um, it's just very like community driven, and like everybody knows everybody, everybody's family, everybody takes care of everyone, and everybody's just very free and like has their own personal style, and like nobody's really trendy, if that makes sense. Everybody's kind of just being themselves and being like really authentic, especially as a black girl. Like it's very empowering to
Hmm.
see my people just living so freely all the time and everything that they do.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time. Like, it sounds like you're literally being immersed in the culture in
Yeah.
Harlem, and the fact that you're able to like live freely, dress how you want to dress, do what you want to do. I wonder, did that influence also like your music, your style,
Yeah.
like those types of things?
Yeah, definitely. My older
Okay.
sister actually went to like a performing arts high school in New York. So all of her friends were like dancers and actors and singers and like stylists. She actually is in fashion now, but just like all of her friends, they were always doing like edgy stuff, and that was like my first kind of peek into fashion and like the fashion world. Like
Mhm.
even I feel like when I was little, there was like this trend of like teddy bear sneakers and like just like quirky hats and like quirky hoodies and all of these like crazy things that like you wouldn't think to wear or buy, but like everybody was wearing them, and
Yeah.
it was like, the even the trends are like not trendy. I don't know, but yeah, it definitely inspires you to think outside of the box. Like I definitely feel like with my personal style, I'm never really trying to do what's like normal or like what
Mhm.
everybody else is doing. Just getting outside of my comfort zone, especially with my personal style, is really important. I think because of that, for sure.
Yeah, it gave you, it kind of like liberated you, like it gave you the
Yeah.
freedom to be able to
Yeah, it's like I
explore like different
can,
avenues.
like seeing that you can do
Yeah,
it. It's like,
exactly.
oh, you can just do whatever you want and wear whatever
Right.
you want. So why wouldn't you?
Exactly, because it makes me wonder, like people who don't live in thriving cities like that, that are like very much alive and well, and they encourage you to do your own thing. When they have that creativity stifled by people telling them, like, no, that's not what we wear here,
Yeah.
or like, what are you wearing, or what are those, like those types of things, like
Yeah.
it inhibits one's creativity. So, to be able to like again freely explore and express yourself, I think that that definitely is something that sets you apart. So
Yeah.
that's amazing.
And I know so many people that have like moved to New York and they're like, yeah, I'm from Ohio, but like I'm like
Hmm.
into fashion and everybody looks at me crazy. So I decided to come to New York where everybody, is kind of on the same wavelength. It's
Yeah.
so common. Yeah. And I'm really grateful to grow up in that
That makes sense.
environment. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So I loved, hearing about your and reading about like your music and the things that you have going on in terms of your album, which we'll definitely dig more into. I'm also wondering about acting. So I know you do some acting. Tell us about how you got into that and some things that we can catch you in.
Yeah, so my mom always had me in like acting classes. I was also begging to be in acting classes and workshops and all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I did a little bit of voice acting when I was little, and then I booked my first role, like major role, on All American season 4, which was cool. It was reoccurring.
Okay.
It was a great first time, I think, for me. Like, especially being like a basically all black production on Warner Brothers. Like, it was very like welcoming and warm, and like it felt very like family vibes. But yeah, it was a great
Yeah.
experience. Yeah. Really.
Okay. And that's something we can still catch now, right?
Yeah. I'm still working on my acting,
Okay.
and All
Okay.
American is out on Netflix. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect. I thought so. I thought I saw it on Netflix. I'm a fan of All American, so that's
Cool.
what's up. Congrats on all your success.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely want to hop more into the wellness aspect of it all. So you're very transparent when it comes to mental health and self-care practices. I've been doing my research and kind of just like looking at some of the articles that you've contributed to and people who interviewed you. You talked freely about like self-care and your self-care routines.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you don't mind like sharing how you got into that. What made you want to get into having a self-care routine? Why is that important?
Well, honestly, I'm very family oriented. My sister,
Okay.
she's really into
Okay.
self care. She has 2 kids, but like she's definitely like the OG baddie of the family. And I think once she had kids, it definitely was like, oh shoot, like I need to make time for myself because I'm a baddie, you know?
Right.
So she definitely put me on to like, just having me time and like putting boundaries up and even just like little things like taking care of your nails and like having nails days and hair days and like
Mm-hmm.
that's a major form of self-care, just like taking care of yourself, like getting your hair done and doing your makeup and taking some pictures and getting dressed and just
Mm-hmm.
having me time and doing what you want to do and what makes you feel good. And that it's really important just for your mental health and things like that. And even we just had a conversation and I was just not feeling the best. I was like, I don't really feel that good. Like, I don't know. Like, mentally, I'm just not there. She's like, what would 10-year-old do? 10-year-old you want to do right now? Like, what does 10-year-old Journey
Mm-hmm.
want to
I
do?
like that.
Like, do you want to go do a puzzle? Do you want to go watch a movie? Do you want to lay down? Do you want to get some ice cream? Like, what does 10-year-old Journey want to do? And yeah, I feel like she's a big role in that for me. Like, my self care and making sure that I'm taking care of myself and just having those boundaries with work because sometimes it's hard, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely, especially when you do so many things like you do. Like you don't just have your hand in one pot, like
Yeah.
you're doing a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I want to go back to what you were saying about like asking yourself, what would the 10-year-old you do in this situation?
Hmm.
I wonder when she asked you that, like what was going through your mind and what did you decide to do?
I did a puzzle because I was really into puzzles. But like
Yeah.
honestly, I think it kind of took me aback a little bit because I was like, dang, like
Mhm.
you kind of ate that. Like I don't know what my 10-year
She ate
old
it up.
self want to do because that's like real healing, And I think
Yes.
that's a lot of the purpose of your adult life is to like heal your inner child and to like break down your childhood and really understand certain things that you didn't have the capacity to understand. But like also in turn, it's like looking back and like seeing how you functioned without all of the noise and without all of the understanding and like what you instinctually did. So yeah, I do that a lot now. Like I'll just be in a pickle or like just mentally not really feeling the best and like not really knowing what's wrong or what to do. And it's like maybe I haven't done a puzzle in a minute. Just little things.
Yeah, a lot of times. Say that again.
I said just little things like that.
Well, I would say those are big things though, because like what you're bringing up right now is so important.
Hmm.
Because a lot of times the distress that people feel in their day to day lives can be a result and connected to like that inner child, like things that they experience in childhood that they may not have gotten enough of, that they may not have corrected, that they may not have been able to give themselves like a corrective emotional experience, is what we
Yeah.
call it. And so, like, being stressed out in adulthood and asking yourself, okay, what would 10-year-old me do? Like that just brings to mind a time where I was like, all right, what do I want to do? Like I want to tap into this inner child.
Hmm.
And so I started skipping outside, like
I love
grown
that.
woman. Like, and I started skipping. And do you want to know how like I'm in DC walking my dog, like downtown DC, where it's just like it's always people outside. And I just like, I don't care. I'm skipping.
I love that. I
Like that's what I want
absolutely
to
love
do.
that. I love that for you.
But I think if yeah, like I feel like if more people would take your advice and kind of like ask yourself, what would your inner child do right now? What would 10-year-old do? What do they need right now? I think a lot of people would live a more healthy, satisfying, fulfilling life.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because even like I've been thinking about getting back into like ice skating and stuff because that's what I used to do when I was little. And like
Mhm.
I feel like, just being in tune with your inner child is really, really important, you know? Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because everybody, like nobody under the sun has had a perfect childhood. And that is our critical period of development.
Yeah.
Therefore, there are going to be things in life where we may have felt alone, we may have felt abandoned, worthless, or what have you. And we still carry those wounds. So even in adulthood, we're still going to be trying to, heal that inner child. And that's totally okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Period. Period. So even now, I love how vulnerable you're being and really talking to the viewers about, I have days where I'm down. I have days where I need to check in with myself. And you're big on like vulnerability in your music.
Hmm.
What helps you to like maintain that vulnerability and not to shut down like when you're about to get vulnerable?
Yeah.
Because I do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
No, honestly, I think a big part of it is just boundaries. Like I'm very
Yeah.
strict with like my studio sessions and like who's writing my music. Like I don't like people in my sessions. I know that's a thing, but I don't like a lot of people in the studio with me because I feel like I'm like reading my diary on the mic. So like I don't want a lot of people there because it makes me self-conscious. It makes me overthink. It makes me
Right.
like feel like I can't say what I want to say. Even though I'm gonna put it out and everybody's gonna hear it. But we play tricks. But yeah, I think just boundaries with that, and then even when I'm working with writers, I'm just very like hands on about what we're talking about or like what we're saying, and also like most of the time I'm just writing my own music, and
Mhm.
especially with this project, like I'm really trying to think outside of the box, like with topics and making it a little broader other than like love and hate. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then just really digging like deep and doing a lot of like internal reflecting. I think is really important, especially because
That gets scary.
I pull like my music from myself, like my topics and my stories, like they're all coming from like my inner, my inner being, I guess.
Mhm. I can imagine like that can feel really scary though. To like tap into your innermost feelings and thoughts, pouring that out to people and really like Erica Badu said, look, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my stuff. Like
Okay.
I feel that every time.
I say that
Anytime
all
I'm
the
putting like
time.
a creative
That's so
right.
funny. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I just feel like I'm a very emotional gal, regardless of
Yeah.
like the music. Like, I'm a diary girl. I like write in my diary every day, morning and night. Like, I'm just very in tune with my emotions. I talk about my feelings a lot. Like, I'm really into my feelings. So, it's only right that my music is doing the same thing. Like, I'm a very, like, express yourself type of girl.
Period, as it should be. Like I love music. I'm a, music person myself. And so if I'm not feeling the lyrics, if I'm not feeling the music, like I don't listen to it. So I love that you're like allowing yourself to maintain that vulnerability no matter how scary it is, because it is scary and that's okay. Journey, I also want to ask you, what is one thing you want people to take away from this album?
Um, I want people to take away that they set the tone. You set the tone about how your life is, about how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your life. You know, I think that was like a big thing that I dealt with for a little while, where like I was like just like being like depressed or sad or whatever, and I just had to realize that I can decide those things. Like I can decide not to be, and I can decide to feel better and see my life a different way. And I think it has like a affirmation undertone a little bit,
Okay.
like with a lot of the titles. Like one of the titles is called like Lucky Girl Syndrome, and it's just kind of saying like I'm just a lucky girl, and really believing that and functioning like that in everything that you do, because you kind of are how you feel about yourself, and
Mhm.
nobody can. It kind of goes back to the thing where it's like nobody can believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. So I think a lot of it just comes with a lot of lessons that I've learned in the last year, with like just doubting myself. And like I feel like when the best things have happened, it's like when I 100% believe in it, and it's kind of like a hand in hand thing with manifesting and what people have been talking about. But you can't really manifest something if you don't believe it like 100,000%. So it's kind of
Yes,
just
I love that.
rewiring your brain. And like I also had like low key like an epiphany, like with my music and people listening to it, and even just like my streams going up and things like that. I felt like I had like a responsibility to make it something that, like, if you're singing this over and over again and it kind of manifested and it happened, like, will we be mad at that? You know what I mean? Like, will we be
Right.
mad? Because words are really,
Right.
really powerful. And as like a songwriter and as somebody who likes, I like books and I like to write just like stories and things like that. Like, I really like words, just understanding how powerful they are, and like understanding my responsibility as an artist who like makes these things that people sing over and over again. Just being a little bit more responsible with that. And for myself, because I also noticed when I'm writing songs, 2 weeks later, I'll be in the situation that I made up in a song. So just things like that.
I hear that a lot from I hear that a lot from artists like, yo, I wrote this song a year ago and it's actually coming to pass.
Yeah.
Like I think There's so much to be said about that.
Yeah, no, even like because what I was noticing was I was writing these heartbreak songs, and then a month later I would be in a predicament relating to that song, and I was like, maybe I should use this for something better, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I know if I put this in a song, it's probably gonna happen. Like let me say something positive that will like impact my life in a better way, you know?
Because like you said, words have power.
They do, yeah.
Like, I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a firm believer. But in going back to what you were saying about like even the words we say can help to rewire our brains, and that's why it's so important to be mindful of like the songs that we sing. So I love that you like put that in the world, the affirmation music that you create. I think that's all of that is amazing, and you're being produced by like one of my friends, DJ Camper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's so dope, yo.
Yeah, me and
Yes.
Camper just like clicked. Like that's my guy. Like
Yeah.
I never really
Yeah.
had that type of chemistry with a producer before. And like it just made sense. I don't know. Yeah, it just
Mhm.
made sense. It like worked so perfectly.
He's amazing. Yeah. We had him on the show as well. And he talked a lot about how the anointing of God like really helps him to make magic like that, to create music. So yeah, definitely a gem. And we know this is gonna be fire because you know you have an amazing lineup already on there.
Wow, I didn't know that he said that because I literally just said that. There was this girl, she DM'd me on Instagram like 2 days ago, and she was like, "Oh, like I know you're not gonna reply, but like I really need some help with like my songwriting. I've been having writer's block, and I love music. I want to get into music. Like, do you have any advice for like what to do when I'm stuck and I can't like break through?" And I was just like, because I did struggle with writer's block. I mean, I feel like every writer has. And I
Mm.
think the best thing that worked for me was taking myself out of it and realizing that, like, I was like, I don't know if you're spiritual, but I was like, just realizing that I'm kind of like a vessel, and everything that I'm
Yeah.
saying and my stories and stuff, they're not coming from me. Like even how I'll like finish a song and then I'll listen
Mhm.
back like, dang, maybe this is like something for me to listen to and like something for me to take in. I won't even realize what I was saying. But I was like, yeah, I think the most important thing is to like take yourself out of it and trust your first mind because that's something that's like something you're being told to do, and just going
Exactly.
with it and think later and like finish the thought later. But I feel like taking yourself out of it and just moving kind of as
Yeah.
a vessel is the best thing. That's funny, Camper said that.
I think
I
that's
love that.
even yeah. If I were you, I would definitely talk to him about that because he was dropping so many gems. Like he lives by that, and he's like just an amazing person because he's from the East Coast, like Jersey area. So like a lot of people just like look up to him for that because we know him from church. Like he started in church and he
Yeah,
never let that go. Like I'm here as a vessel. I know I'm anointed by God. Any
yeah,
room I walk in, like if I'm playing keys, it's going to be anointed.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So no, but that's really dope. Well, we're definitely proud of you for everything that you're doing and what you want us to take from this album. Like I'm a firm believer that this album is definitely going to change lives because you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable in the making
Oh,
process.
thank
For real.
you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. For sure. Are you able to drop a date or
Definitely top of the year. It will be here coming
okay?
soon. Yeah, we're working on visuals and working on vibes and
Period.
getting everything very nice and pretty for you all. So I'm very excited.
Nice.
I don't want to rush it because it is like a
Of
big thing.
course.
But yeah,
Of
it's
course.
coming soon. Top of the year for sure.
Yeah, so we'll definitely be on the lookout for that. So make sure that you guys stay tuned with everything that Journey has going on so that we can follow her music. Journey, can you let us know where the people can follow you?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at Journey Montana, JourneyMontana. TikTok, Journey Montana 2. Twitter, Journey Montana _. And everything else, Journey Montana.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, y'all. So make sure y'all follow her. Make sure that you're getting the music when it comes out. Again, Journey, thank you so much for your time. And it was a pleasure talking to you. Again, I know this album is going to be amazing. And yeah, so make sure y'all tune in next week. And don't forget, y'all, you have the power to create the emotions that you want to experience.